Hello viewers, welcome to Full Spinnaker Ahead, episode 21 part 2. This episode we changed the mainsail as well as do a sail repair on the headsail UV cover, and also the sail bag gets a repair as well. We use a Sailmate sewing machine and also some manual sewing techniques to get the job done. So first up, the mainsail, we got a few different quotes, and the best quote I could get was from Rolly Tasker, a large company that has a large sail loft over in Asia, and it appears that they can mix the high tech with the low prices of the Asian countries and come up with a well-priced sail. My mainsail cost about $6,500 without luff cars and without battens. The other quote I got was like $2,000 more expensive. I found Rolly Tasker easy to deal with. They've got an online form that's pretty self-explanatory, but you can always get plenty of support from them for your measurements. And the turnaround for the sail is 5 to 6 weeks. The reason behind changing my mainsail was basically the mainsail, or the old mainsail, was starting to delaminate. This is a piece of material that it's made out of, and it's a laminated material, multiple layers, and it was starting to come apart. You can see it in a few photos that I've got, that it's starting to delaminate as well. And it was only a matter of time before that was going to fail, and because I was planning on doing a fair bit of sailing, I did my mainsail as well as the standing rigging, just for the peace of mind. 5 to 6 weeks later, I got my new Rolly Tasker sail, and I had to do a few jobs before I could hoist it up. So off the old sail, I had to take my intermediate and batten pocket cars, luff cars, off the old sail. So I rolled the sail out on the driveway at home and first placed the new sail over it to see how they matched up, and then proceeded to take the luff cars off. Got the old sail laid out. We're just got to fit the luff cars to it, and also the battens. Got the sail made up Rolly Tasker. We're just going to roll it out, get the idea that it is the same size. And we're just going to fit the little luff cars. These are the ones with the eyelets. These are intermediate ones with a piece of strap to attach them to the luff. 60mm out from the luff line, and then you've got the batten cars as well, which are a metal fitting. I'll show you later. Yeah, so just going to lay the sail out. Yeah, it looks a fair bit longer. Not good. 100mm or so. Getting better at it. There she is. the ones in between, cut it off with a knife. I'll just replace that. So I've got the centre. So the centre is from there. So I just measure 50mm across. The other ones haven't been allowing me to put them exactly on centre, because when I put these holes in, I don't want it to touch. I don't want it to touch any. I don't want the holes to go through, break any of the stitching. So I just adjust it. So just a bit of a ream out. Got some thread locker there. I'm just going to put a bit of thread locker on that. I haven't had anything on them, but I'm going to put some on. So that's it. Just marked it off on 185. I think that's going to be a good number to get the 60mm offset from the luff. There we go. About that much for this first stitch. Cut it. I'm just going into concentration mode. Through there 3 times and then burn it all. 2, that's enough. 2. So cut that, and then I just hit that with a lighter, those frayed bits, and it melts back. Now the second part of the stitch is through the bolt rope, which is this is called the bolt rope along the luff, with a sailcloth wrapped around a rope, and this needs to be, this lacing or strap needs to be stitched through the bolt rope. You need your palm, sewing palm, to push it through, because it's got that nice little thing there where the end of the needle grips into it. Makes it a bit safer. I'll go through the middle. I need a block of wood so that when I come through the other side I don't drive it into the concrete. And there's a little tag that I want to include in the stitching. So go through there, try and keep that laying the right way, put that on the end, don't drive it through your hand is going to be the good idea. I think it's going to happen one day, but hopefully not today. Get a pair of pliers to pull it through. make sure that sits nice. Whoa. And then back up out this side, just because, come out this side because it's all on top. I don't have to bend down underneath the sail. It's an extra stitch, but I think it's worth doing. I'll just show you properly. I'll wind it. I'm going to go through under there. You've got to make sure that that always stays straight. Just light up the end and it melts, and it sort of, and then it holds itself there. That's the plan, and that's what it looks like. Hopefully that'll hold. Try and measure me 60, and I've got 63. It's not great, but anyway. We're 30,000 foot without a parachute here at the moment. I've just put a little hole in my brand new sail. I was cutting the end of a screw off of repositioning one of those luff cars. It come off, and there it is. Look at that. I cannot believe it. And a little. My sail is a 5-batten main sail. We made the new sail with the batten pocket slightly higher than the old sail, so that when we went to fit the battens, they would be too long, and so we would have to trim each one slightly to ensure a perfect fit. The batten was trimmed to length so that it sat just inside the batten pocket envelope, so that if you applied pressure with the envelope tab, you could apply pressure to and bend the batten if required. My final fitment was so that there was no pre-bend in the batten. Let me know if you have any other ideas different to mine. I'll be glad to hear them. Number 1 batten. Got to go in there. Just like that, and that just goes through there, through there, through there, and put a bit of pressure on it, nice and firm, and that's it. Just goes in there. Bob's your uncle, Martha's your aunt. Morning. It's a beautiful morning here, and I just wanted to show you the headsail UV cover and why we and how it works and what it does for the sail. So my sail's on a rolling furler, which is a barrel type setup that the rope rolls around here, and then when you pull on this rope, it turns that mechanism and it turns this whole sail around, and it just winds it around the forestay. It's got this blue high resistant material on it, and you can see it all there, so it protects the main part of the sail, but it's only a small strip along the sail. So I'll just show you what it looks like when it unravels. Just pull on the sheet line, and you can see the white already coming out, and that's it. So by the time that pulls right out, it's just a small 300mm strip of UV cover right around it, and that's what I had to repair just because it was always sitting in the sun and the stitchings deteriorated. Sewing machine efforts today. Sort of overcast day, but been trying to get this foresail stitched up along the UV cover strip. When it rolls up, that's the cover that you only see from the outside, and it's been fraying. I've been trying to, you can see the original zigzag stitching, and I've run it straight through it because I couldn't get the zigzag working on my machine, and since then I've got it working a bit better. So I've now got a zigzag, a straight, and the original zigzag. You can see my zigzag there. That's the original zigzag, and there's also a straight, so that shouldn't come off. Anyway, I've learned a lot about the sailmate sewing machine from Secura Stitch. Apparently could have been called a Barracuda. There's another one called Sail Right, which is probably a little bit more refined than this one, but sort of looks the same. So I've learned a lot about it, all the tensioning devices, how to thread the bobbin, needle bar height of that, so that's the height of the needle above the bottom stroke, and in under there is all timing of the sewing machine. Got a bit of a file out there, I'll show you that later. So here we go, like trying to keep it all nice and straight. It's got these little walking teeth here that you'll see. They move and pull the thing along. I noticed that if you don't keep that going reasonably well, you will get a skip stitch, which has been my main concern on the whole deal. I've been getting skip stitches, and I ended up having to, because of my needle to hook, which it's called the hook distance, was not close enough, and the reason for that was that the hook was hitting against this drive mechanism, so I had to file a bit of that away, which seemed to help. Anyway, here we are, 30,000 foot on a sewing machine. The saloon is full head sail in almost. Runs out the door. And around. Beautiful. sail repair on the foresail. We're at the clue, and it's way too heavy to sew. Besides, my sailmate sewing machine is pretty irregular, especially in thick material. So I use the awl and PTFE thread, the Teflon thread, to sew it by hand. I have used the machine for the rest of where I can, and it hasn't been that great a job, but it's a 15-metre long sail. So with this, I just timed it when it's all set up pretty well. The 10mm zigzag stitch, I can do 100 mils of it in just under 10 minutes. So you can imagine doing 15 metres with multiple 15-metre lengths. It's just going to take forever. So I try to keep the awl to a minimum, but it does a far better job. You have a look at that there. It's awesome. You don't miss a stitch, and it's because it's already been stitched. You just go through the existing hole. Works really good. Get the stitch through first, pull it back out, and I've worked out that when you measure it, you go equal, and then for this length of thread I'll go an extra 150 mil or so on my right side, because I tie a knot in it, and if it wears out I need to tie another knot in it, which all takes a bit of length of thread. So you thread it through the side with the divot in the needle, and then on the other side of the needle is a groove. If you can get that groove right by the thread laying in it, the other side puckers up when you pull back on it. I'll show you that in a minute. So I just make a loop like that, and I sit it on that little knob. I don't feed it all through that anymore because it just takes too long. And then I hold it like that, push it through an existing hole. You break needles real easy. I'm almost finished, done all my needles. So if you can see that, then it's got the thread either side. When you pull it back, one side puckers out because the groove holds the other side, and then without moving that too much, put that through the loop, and then pull it back, and then you get an opportunity to measure your length again, because you can still pull that thread either way. But another stitch or two on it will be locked properly. So I reckon that's about right. You pull it even, and the little lock stitch, you can pull that a stitch out, and it's come out there. You can pull it out, but you want it halfway from the top and the bottom of the fabric, so it sits inside the fabric. You just keep doing that. If you have holding the fabric up, I've noticed that holding the sail up so you don't have to bend your neck, I notice your stamina, your stitching stamina is improved heaps. And I suppose as you do more of it, you get more stitch fit. So I like to pull out the eye of that lock stitch to pull out this side. I'll pull it out this side, and then I'll lay it back in halfway, because if I bias it on this side, then I can see it if it fails and it pulls out a bit, and then I have to readjust it. It's on the other side, I've slightly got to get my head around there, and it doesn't just a bit of extra. But I've only learnt this stuff by having a go, and you sort of see what works best. You got the loop, put the thread through. I wrap my hand around that, and then pull it through along the needle. Pull it through that side a bit, and just back again, and away we go. Slightly thicker thread. It's V138, not 138. I think it's like, must be like 0.138 or 1.3. It's not, I think it must be 0.38, almost half a mil or something like that, but the numbers designate the diameter. The V, I'm not sure, but it's Teflon thread. It's meant to be quite really strong and UV resistant, which is really important, but it doesn't seem to be bonded. It seems to have like 3 or 4 strands that if you work it too much they sort of fray. Yeah. Anyway, it's so you just got to get the mindset right and just keep it going, because otherwise you won't get anything done. But I'm sort of figuring that if you had it set up and you see that stitch now there's come loose, the one before that I'm working on, it's sort of pulled out, so I stick the needle through the loop that I'm working on and I pull down on it. That's then anchors that, and then so it pulls back the little loop before, and so you can rebed it. And then you pull it back out of the eye, and you just keep an eye on that. But the good thing is if you pull that loop out this side and then reset it when you're doing your stitch, when it does fail like that time now, I can see it easy because I'm on this side of the fabric. So, sail repair, head sail. I've been using the machine on the thinner parts, but at the head of the sail, this part here is so reinforced that I can't get a reliable stitch through it, and it's hard enough to get. This is an awl to do a lock stitch. I've got a number, what's that, 22 needle in there, and if I just try and go push straight through there with that, I'll break them, and it's really difficult. So I'm using a hammer and a block of wood to push a hole from both sides. So at the point of the cross stitch, I'll put that in there, and I just give that 3 hits, and then go from the other side as well and do the same on the other side. 3 hits, and then gotta watch where you put that point. It's really not liking my legs much. And give that another 3 hits. That hopefully separates the strapping that they've got in there. And now that's what I have to do on this part of the sail from about, well, in this case it'll be from back here all the way up there, and I've already done that bit and that bit. And then on the other, there's 3 points of the sail where really they have really thick material on the head. the clue and the tack all will need to be done the same. So it's going to take ages. That's it.